Okay, hi everyone to the music workshop. So for this week, actually, what we'll be doing for the music workshop is more of a music appreciation, where I will roughly talk to you more about like what exactly is music, and we analyze some of the more popular game music and try to extract out certain patterns, certain themes, and basically learn some form of like what to expect from all this very nice game music that we have so far. Because actually, I believe music is something that actually is best taught by listening. Because if you were to go too much into theory, you'll find that your music is very constrained. Yeah, I mean, no amount of music theory can cover the broad spectrum of music that is present right now in the world. So, yeah, my philosophy is that listen more and then try to like assimilate some more things inside your memory, and then you can compose nice music just like by instinct. Yeah, that's roughly what I do. But of course, yeah, the workshop basically this week is more of like listening and analyzing key music pieces. Next few weeks will be more like half theory, half activity. So yeah, you will do some music theory next week, but very simple ones. Okay, so firstly, let's begin. So what exactly is music? Okay, music actually can be defined like this. Like it can be defined as a sound entering your ear, and that's it. Okay, so any combination of sound, okay, that can be over a sequence of time, that can be considered as music. Okay, but I feel like this definition is too sciencey. Okay, this may explain how sound waves work, but music actually serves a greater purpose in our lives, I feel. So if you look at this next slide, so music actually has a lot of qualities that can trigger emotional responses. Like there's a lot of times, okay, maybe let me ask you, when you hear a piece of music, will that piece of music make you feel happy, sad, irritated? You know, what music trigger emotions in you when you hear them? I would say yes, right? Yeah, so this is exactly the case. So for game music, pop music, any kind of music, I feel like the main thing for music is not so much the structure, but more so what the message of the music is trying to give you. And it's doing that by varying a lot of things like the rhythm, the tone, whether is it like clashing notes or pleasant sounding notes. So all this, when you mix them together, will eventually form a large theme that actually can affect your mood. So actually research have shown that if you listen to more relaxing music, you're actually less prone to stress. Yeah, so it's true. If you listen to all the very fast-paced music with huge drum beats, actually you can get more anxious easily. So it's true that music affects us. It affects our thinking also. And for a game, okay, the music should complement the game, right? It should complement the game and bring out the required emotions. Or if the game is supposed to be stressful, it can bring out the required stress and so on. So yeah, I would like to just emphasize this part because too many people here, not here, I mean, too many people in the world think that music is just about forming like the perfect chords, perfect things. But actually, all these are secondary. The main thing is about bringing out this emotion. Okay, and that how to bring this out. Okay, let's try to analyze certain pieces. So this is the history of game music in my own interpretation. Okay, so at the beginning here, y'all played Game Boy before? Okay, no, that was the earliest game that y'all played.
I think I played my era was like Wii.
Sorry, what?
It was the Wii, I think, for me.
The Wii. Okay, Wii is
Yeah.
actually a bit more advanced already. The music.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you start from the era of like arcade games or like Game Boy, yeah, Beyblade. Oh, Beyblade is not the electronic game, right? It's the toy, right? Yeah. So that the one I don't think has sound. Oh, you mean Game Boy? Yes. Okay, yeah, that's Game Boy. So for those of y'all who played the Game Boy, you realize actually Game Boy has a very limited selection of sounds. Okay, they only have a few like square waves, triangle waves, which people actually have to sort of improvise and come out with sounds that match the mood. So it is very jaggy, zang, 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 that kind of sound. But people try to form music with it. So it's a limitation of architecture. Okay. Then after that, when it comes to the 90s, okay, there's like games like Final Fantasy that actually have more orchestra feeling. It's not just okay, because earlier games is like very focused on the melody, but later on the games include more instruments blended together in harmony or maybe dissonance. Okay, we analyze some of these sounds later. So it's more orchestra, more wholesome feeling. Okay, and recent games, okay, like Final Fantasy Remake, recent games actually, or Elden Ring is a very good example, is basically not too much melody already. Okay, it comes a lot more cinematic. To be honest, if you ask me what I prefer most, right, actually I don't like the cinematic one. Okay, because cinematic one actually feels a lot of like just background noise. Okay, but the kind of genre that I like best is like the more melodic orchestra. Maybe you can have a little bit of background noise. This one is still okay because this one luckily is still based on Final Fantasy 7, so it is still melodic. You play like Final Fantasy 15, you realize that the melody actually sort of is in the background already. Yeah, but if you play games like Elden Ring, you realize that after you play the game, you may not be able to remember the song. Okay, because it is just meant as a background accompaniment. Okay, so we'll analyze all this. Okay, I mean, later when we go through the music, you can also tell me what kind of songs that you all like best. Okay, we can try to recreate some of these songs in our later sessions. Okay, so all right, so let's use these guidelines to look at the songs later. So I'll just be playing you some songs, then we can discuss, okay? What do you think is the mood of the song? Is it happy, sad, anxious, agitated, sad? Sorry, I said sad already. Yeah. Suspenseful. Yeah. So what is the mood? Okay, what kind of scenario can you imagine hearing this song? What are the instruments used? And some of the music technicalities. This one, don't worry too much. Okay, I think just focus on the first three. Okay, because this bottom part here is really quite technical, and I think we have no need to go that in detail. Okay, next week actually we'll cover more of this. But for now, I think what I'll do is I'll jump straight into the music part, and then maybe at the last 15 minutes or so, I will just introduce you how to use BandLab. Okay, a very basic introduction so that we can continue it next week. So that's the rough plan. Okay, so let's see. Wait, sorry, let me just share with sound. Okay, can you see the screen? Okay, so let's start with Super Mario Bros. Okay, so this is the era of 8-bit music. Okay, so let's hear it, and then after that, we discuss how this sounds like to you. Okay, I think that's enough. So based on this early feel, does this song sound happy or sad? Or you can type in the chat, or you can.
It's happy, I guess.
Yeah, it's actually it's a happy song. Yeah, it's meant to be happy, I feel. Yeah, upbeat song. Yes, upbeat song, happy. So you can feel like the rhythm is very fixed. Then got a very. If you can imagine a metronome, you can. Okay, let's just play the song. I mean, you can feel that. Actually, it's very adhering to the rhythm, very adhering to the beats. So it makes you, because every time when you have this kind of fixed beat, you feel upbeat. Yeah, so this is a very good technique used in songs to keep, even the sound itself sounds like drums actually, although there's no drums. So you understand the earlier point where I say Game Boy, they don't have a vast variety of instruments to do it. They actually tried to do the drums. You look at this. Can you hear that?
The drums are like just static. I only realized now the percussion is just like static. So
yes, correct. Because there's a limitation. There's no drums in the Game Boy. So they had to do the zip, zip, zip. But then the idea is really to bring out the rhythm. Yeah. So what kind of instruments are used for this? So
there's like a bass line.
yeah, actually they are
It comes
more
in
like
it.
square waves. They are just wave. There's no real instrument for this. Yeah, but I mean synthetic sounds. Yeah, I mean you can treat it like that. If I read correctly, Game Boy actually got 5 different buzzers. Each of them produce different kind of sounds. Then you can vary the pitch, vibration accordingly. but the waveform is standard, so you can't change the waveform. Yeah. So this was the early part, and yeah, I think overall, if you think about this, I think of a like quite a happy feeling, and then like I can imagine probably being like on an island or something, like resting and relaxing. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, that's the feel I get. So, which is quite ironic for the game actually, because this game is about very repetitive actions and repeating the same stage again and again and again. Yeah. So, if not for the music, all right, let's just if you don't have the music at all, right, actually, this game will be very boring. Okay, because people have analyzed Super Mario Bros. And it's really just more or less follow the pattern kind of game. Yeah, it's quite rigid. You have to follow a certain pattern, no way for maneuver. Yeah, so this way of making the music a bit more upbeat, more happy, actually helps to make the experience a bit more pleasant. Okay, without the music, I think most people will throw the device into the rubbish bin. Okay, because this game is actually quite difficult. All right, so oops, sorry. Okay, now we go to this Final Fantasy VII. I got about 4 songs on to play here. So the first one is the prelude. Are you all Final Fantasy fans, by the way?
No.
Edwin, do you play Final Fantasy? 6. Oh yeah, 6 is a nice one. Yeah. But 7 is the first one that they have actually incorporated a lot of nice soundtrack. So let's analyze this one. So I'll just play the first part so you can hear how this sounds like. All right, so the rest of the song sounds the same. Actually, maybe I should let you hear the next part because there's some extra stuff. Okay, get the overlay over here. All right. So yeah, let's talk about this. So anyone want to go first? Like what do you think is the mood of this song?
Well, it's like mysterious because the scale keeps changing.
Correct. So mysterious, soothing feeling. Yeah. I would say sounds like marimba. Yeah. Definitely has that kind of that crispness and the happiness of that marimba feeling. Also actually this one, you realize that it is based on like it's a pattern going up and down, actually based on some scales. Okay, so this one next week I will touch more in the detail, but it actually helps to make us like more like soothing. So this effect of this scale on psychology, actually there's some effect. Okay, it helps to make us happier, right? If you do this kind of scale feature. So actually a lot of songs like those jazz songs or pop songs, they actually incorporate a lot of this kind of features to actually help us relax. So yeah, this is the example. But later on, you hear okay, Edwin says it's a horn. That one I think is a synthetic sound actually. Doesn't really sound like a horn. Yes. Yeah, I guess there's a horn-like feeling. Yes. So yes, that helps to create a more triumphant mood. I agree with that. Yep. But the main thing I feel is that the sound that overlays it is to actually bring up the excitement level. So earlier on, you start off with a very going up and down kind of arpeggio. After that, you introduce a second layer to make like to hype up the anticipation. Okay, so this kind of overlay technique actually quite frequently used. So you start with a very familiar piece of music. In this case, the scales up and down, and then after that, you just overlay things to heighten up the feeling. Yeah. So I quite like this song. Actually, if you are a Final Fantasy fan, this song was used in all Final Fantasies. So it's a recurring theme. Yeah, and the legend is that this Nobuo Uematsu, who created this, he created all the soundtracks for the game already. Then the director asked him to create the entrance theme. So he didn't have much time to do it. He only had like 3 hours. So this was what he created in 3 hours. So not too bad. I mean, if the legend is true, the sound is quite nice. Yeah, but it's also a simple sound. So sometimes simple sounds are actually quite good. Okay. You have anything else to add? If not, I'll move on to the next one. Okay, so let's move to the next one. Is this? Yeah, I'll play the first minute. So you just hear this part. Okay, so this was just the first minute of the sound of the song. Wait, let me just get my. So actually, this one has a bit of the same kind of vibes, right, as the previous song. What do you think? What kind of emotions do you think this is trying to elicit?
I thought this one is a lot more like suspenseful. You have
Yeah,
the crescendo, the decrescendo of like the percussion drum, right?
this part, right? This first part, right?
Yeah. What instrument is that?
This one is, I think, it's a string synth.
After this, like the
This dong dong dong, is it? That's also a synth actually. That's a higher.
like the snare or whatever it is. Oh hi.
That's like I don't know, shaking. I think I only know it's a
synthetic
shaker.
snare drum or something.
Yeah, so you can see that the shaking part, the gradual increase in loudness actually helped to build up the suspense. Then the boom, that one is like the finisher. Is to like to actually this used quite a lot in like even for horror games. you you have like a build up of suspense like that. But maybe you don't have the drums for horror because they want to keep you in the state of suspense. Yeah. Tension. Yes, there's a lot of tension in this. Actually, this bombing mission thing, right? Because the context of this is that this party is going to try to bomb a reactor. So the first part is like uncertainty. Actually, you realize in the middle part of the piece, they actually become a bit more upbeat. I play this middle part, you'll just hear. So there's an overlay here. One or two sound. Okay, so you can see that the team no actually in the game actually that part is the yeah actually something did go wrong, I guess. Elvin said something gone wrong in that part. It's like a heightened action state. Actually, you realize at the start it's very suspenseful because that's the mood that this guy wanted to create, Nobuo Matsu. After that, in the center part, you hear the it sounds like very rhythmic, very full of drums, right? The kind of very regular pattern and very fast pattern. So this kind of pattern very typical for action sequences. You realize that it emphasizes a lot on the tempo and a lot on the sharp beats. Then you can hear that in the center there's a lot of like overlay of it gets louder and louder. This technique used quite a lot. I'll teach you how to do this also at the last session. Okay, so this overlay technique where okay, let me just show that part again. See, yeah. I think it's here. Yeah, you go one time. Then there's the second instrument playing the same note. There's one instrument on top, which actually gives like the overall like height. So with the main melody, they just keep repeating this melody for the rest of the song. So there's also this thing which is also quite frequently used, is that when you hear a piece of music, you probably don't want to hear very, very different parts from the first part to the second part to the third part. There needs to be something constant that you are familiar with that carries over through the song, so that when I introduce you a next verse, you don't feel like, hey, how come the music suddenly changed? You feel like there's a continuity. So this technique of making a single melody at different parts of the song, but continue this part, is called like a motif, and this is a quite common technique used in a lot of game songs and a lot of pop songs also, so that it becomes more catchy and more familiar. So there's a saying, if you hear something more, you tend to like it more. So this is the same for songs. If the song piece is repeated again and again, when you next hear it, it's associated with the kind of emotions that you actually feel. Like if let's say this scene, when you play the game, this scene is a scene of action and something that like something went wrong. Then the next time you hear the somewhere else in the game, you will think that, okay, the big boss is coming, something like that. So this way of repeating this theme is quite a common technique. All right. Any other things that you want to talk about this song? I think we got most of the thing. All right. So, okay, next up. Okay, let me just. Okay, this one I'll just touch on a little bit because it actually has the same vibes. But let me just show you this because I want to talk more about this later. Okay, there's some other song part after that, but just based on this first part, what kind of feeling you all get from this song?
It's moody.
Yeah, actually also a bit of tension. So you realize that this instrument, this synth wave thing, actually helps to create quite a lot of tension. Okay, the main reason why I want to show you this song actually is not so much on the mood, because you already have the mood, but because I want to compare this to the remake one. Okay, just to let you hear how the remake has changed this first part. Okay, let me see where's the song. It's called Anxiety, right?
How old is this game?
Sorry, say again.
So wait, did this game just come out or what?
Yeah, the remake came out in 2020.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, but the earlier one came out like 1990 something.
Yeah.
Can you hear the difference between the original and the remake?
Yeah, that's what
All right, yeah. More layers of instrument. Yes, actually, you realize a very common theme. Okay, because actually I went to hear quite a lot of all these songs. You realize a very common theme of this new age, new age games, as in the more modern games. They actually like to put a lot of synth waves to cover the song. So, for instance, actually got some songs that are like more. Okay, let's look at Aries theme. Okay, this one you will hear it better. So there are some songs that are more like just more melodic with just one layer. But for the more modern cinematic one, you actually have that the aura kind of effect that actually can sort of overwhelm the melody. So it's quite a common thing. So it really depends on what style you're going for. If you are going for the more cinematic, that means your game needs to be like this kind of, yeah, the graphics need to be super good. Then you don't want to distract people from the music. You want people to focus on the game, then you have this kind of cinematic music. But if your graphics are like, okay, this one is actually quite nice, but Final Fantasy 7, the graphics was quite bad. It made of polygon models. So This one they want to make people focus more on the music, so you don't go for that kind of like effect. So the cinematic effect kind of thing is really a modern trend, and it's really because the games I think have gotten much better in terms of graphics, and it looks like a movie now. So the music, I mean, if you look at the Elden Ring style, the music has also become a bit more uh less emphasis on the melody and more emphasis on the surroundings. Yeah, I'm trying to find Aries theme so that I can let you compare also. So this is the second song that I wanted to compare between the old and the new one. So you just hear this. All right, actually, this is one of my favorite songs, but I don't want to spend too much time going through the whole thing. So based on this song, what kind of mood do you think this song is trying to convey? Yeah, calming mood. Yeah, Edwin said calming. Yeah, I agree. It's a calming mood. Do you feel anything else?
That's Aerith, right? The one in the pink.
Yeah, Arif is this one, this purple one.
Yeah. Oh, Popos. I think I saw her in the remake.
Yeah, well, a little sad is correct because there's a little bit of that like longing kind of feeling. Dun, dun. I hear that it's like bit draggy the notes. So these are common themes of sad things. So like they tend to be longer, tend to be slower. And also sad and soothing actually is like two sides of the same coin. You can be soothing and then actually if you tweak it a little bit, actually it becomes sad. Because the kind of texture of the sounds that comes in is about the same. Yeah. So the other way to show sadness is actually to just make minor keys, but this one didn't use minor keys. So yeah, I think this one really conveys like a soothing image, a sad image. All right, let's hear how the remake made it. All right. So this is the last song for the remake that I want to show you all. Okay, maybe not the last song, the second last song, because I will show you one.
Nothing beats the feeling of having taken control of your personal finance and having a life skill.
Okay, I think from here you can already tell the difference. Can you see that there's a lot, I mean, the piano part is, yes, is there, but the main melody actually doesn't really rest too much on the piano anymore. It's more like, it's more like it fused together with the background. You can hear this? Yeah, so can you hear that there's a contrast? Like this is the old style where the piano is the dominant one. You can see it. But here is not a piano, okay, but here is also the same. But you can feel like when it comes to like the remake, they try to keep to the same tones, but you can see that there is actually a lot less focus on the melody, but more on the like the surrounding overlay. So I think that's more or less the key difference between like this kind of middle generation, which is the orchestra kind, and the more cinematic kind is this kind. Okay, let's go through like one last song. Okay, then after that we'll do something. We'll go to a different kind of genre. So okay, one wing angel, okay, maybe I'll show you one little part of it. Okay, this is a fighting song, so you can hear like how it sounds like. I'll skip the first part a bit. All right. Yeah. So yeah, what are your thoughts on that? Facing an overwhelming opponent. So you can hear that this has the mood of like, how I put it, it is something that is very chaotic, very scary, because like you hear a lot of like there's like a lot of trumpets, a lot of horns, and like it can sound very grand. Okay, actually later you hear the next part, there's a lot of Latin also. So like there's a choir. So you hear this part. All right. So actually this one, to be honest, if you hear this too long, you get a headache. Okay, because I tried to create this on BandLab and then I got a headache after I created it over 2 days. Yeah. So can you hear that this is a bit more like a bit of dissonance? Can you hear the drung, drung? Actually it sounds not very harmonious, right? It sounds clashy. Yeah. But what do you feel about the effect of the choir? How does the choir voice make you feel? Yeah, ominous. Okay, Edwin said ominous. Yeah, I think that was the effect they were going for. So it means that something big is happening, something bad is happening, and that really emphasized quite well in this song. Okay, so okay, last song for the I'm gonna show you a song with an irregular rhythm. So this one I chose just now is this one. All right. So based on this song, oh yeah, when you like the kind of swinging kind of beats. So what does this kind of genre, or what does this kind of like irregular beats, swingy kind of beats, what does it make you feel?
It's like fun. The chocobo is like it's like a bird, right?
Ah yeah, Chocobo is the bird. Yes, it's the yellow bird.
It's like a sort of clownish, not clownish, but
I mean, there are different variations of this song, but
playful maybe.
this song is actually the most swingy version. It's like a more playful kind of version. So actually in a lot of game music, if you have a very playful and silly scene, usually it's in the time of a waltz. Or you can be like this kind of swingy rhythms. Because if you think of it in the normal case, sorry, if you think of it in the normal case for the chocobo, it wouldn't be so swingy. Okay, it's swingy because they wanted to make it a bit more playful. They wanted to make it a bit more less predictable. So if you take a normal chocobo sound, it will sound like this. Okay, so this style is waltz. Dong 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 dong. This also has a bit of playful feeling. But the other one that you hear just now, that was really like more jazz-like. So if you're jazzy, relaxed. So Chocobo is meant to be happy, relaxed, jazzy. So this is the kind of jazz feel. So actually in this Final Fantasy VII, you see there's so many different kinds of music styles. It's quite amazing that one single person actually composed all of this himself. Yeah. So I was quite impressed. Yeah. So there are some other songs that like focus a lot on like the violin and so on. So that one maybe next time. Yeah, I just want to like move on because I want to show you how to use BandLab at the end. So now let's go to a new game, a new genre. Okay, this genre is by Jubit. You all have you played Jubit before? Jubit is the game where you have 16 squares and then you need to press the squares. So let's hear how this Jubit song sounds like. There's a rhythm game. Yep. And then we discuss how this music genre, how the music is like for this kind of genre. Okay, ready? All right, this is actually the song Can Can. But what do you notice about this song? Like maybe we go by the emotion first. Like how do you feel when you hear this? Okay, fast paced, intense. Yep. What other feelings do you get when you hear this? Okay, you feel like there's a lot of action going on, right? Yeah. So this is, and what do you hear? What kind of instruments do they use? Let's continue hearing. You can try to identify. Yeah. So what do you feel like? Okay. Firstly, the first part is like a synth kind of sound. Like they use a very synthetic sound. It's not really by any instrument. But do you notice that there's a lot of drums? You hear it? Okay, so this is a proven fact. In most of these rhythm games, there will be drums. Okay, I mean not will, there will most likely be drums. Okay, because the drums actually highlight the rhythm, and it's most likely going to be very fast paced. So this is the common theme that you have when you play these rhythm games. I'm a very big fan of this Jubit game. Yeah, so I mean I didn't show you all the video of people playing with their hands on the pressing the squares because I don't want to distract you all from hearing the sound. But do check out those videos. It's quite cool how people like are so nimble, can press all this. Yeah, so if you want to create rhythm kind of games, the drums is very important. And also there needs to be a very regular rhythm. Okay, no one likes to play rhythm games with jazz songs. Okay, because if you play with jazz songs, you won't be able to get a rhythm that well. So rhythm games are usually very fast-paced and full of drums. Okay, so maybe as a tribute to one of our members here, let's play one of his songs. So this one he posted on the My Music. So let's analyze this part. Okay, this song is actually quite unusual because it doesn't follow very melodic tones, but it still sounds quite nice. Okay, so like what kind of emotions do you get when you hear this song? Do you all feel a bit more like ominous, that kind? Because actually, if you realize this song doesn't really use very harmonious notes, it sounds very clashing actually, most of the notes here. Yeah, it's an unsettling feeling. Yes, correct. I mean, that's the aim, I guess, because this is a necromancer kind of boss. And you can hear that actually the tone itself is actually from like all the random trumpets that's going, and then the ambient noise is actually very loud. Yeah, so that actually heightens the kind of atmosphere. So actually it has a bit of the atmospheric cinematic feel already. But what actually kept the whole song going from the start to the end is this drum beat. Da-da-da, da-da-dum, 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 da-da-dum. If you continue this song, you realize that it's constant. So later there will be a few variations in the theme, but the background da-da-dum, 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 da-da-dum is constant. So this is an example of how having something familiar can make someone like connect through the entire song, although there's no real melody at all. I mean, compared to like stuff like Aries theme, can y'all really identify any melody in this song? Not really, right? It's I mean, it is more like a bit of the off notes, and then the notes a bit of like what do you call that, 着相 kind of feeling, like a bit of the taper off with a wrong note kind of feeling. But I think that was the intended effect, okay, because this really makes the music a bit more mysterious. Okay, so this one is a genre I think called synth waves or something like synth. I can't remember what's the genre. Dark synth, yeah, this is the genre called dark synth. Yeah, I'm not very familiar with this, but the effect is this kind of effects. So yeah, if you like a game where it's like a bit unsettling, then this kind of song might be suitable. Okay, so yeah, that's more or less songs that I'll be covering today. Y'all have any questions so far on like what we've discussed so far?
What instrument do you play?
For me, is it?
Do you play the piano?
Yeah, I play the piano.
I see.
Yeah, my piano is behind there.
Yeah, I can see.
Yeah, I play the piano. Then I also actually do electronic keyboard. Yeah, so actually later on, if you see what we will be doing, okay, maybe it's a good time. All right. So before I actually continue, maybe let me just go back to the slides first. I just want to show you the last slide. Okay, so I will just be showing you in the next 5 to 10 minutes how to use BandLab. So you can go to this bandlab.com and set up an account. So next week, I'll be teaching more on how to use this to generate the different tones, okay, and how to like use certain music theory principles to get a very easy rhythm. All right. So this is like homework. Okay, homework is actually very simple. So you just pick any favorite song you like, okay, and then we can just evaluate based on like maybe the first 3 will do. You don't need the technicalities part. Just to basically share one of your favorite songs. So this one will be homework. But right now, let me just show you how to use this. So we can go over to bandlab.com. Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, so this is bandlab.com. Okay, so in bandlab.com, you should be able to create a free account. Okay, you all have an account already in BandLab? Okay, good. So at the top right section of BandLab, there's this thing called Create. Okay, so maybe we just click on the Create button. So the cool thing about BandLab is that you can actually create the songs here and then you can publish it and actually everyone in the world can see it. So it's like free to share, and like you can even collaborate by inviting people to join you in creating. So BandLab has a few features. You can do instruments, voice, drum machine. Drum machine is I'll teach you on the last week. So instrument, voice actually you can sing and you can record your own voice. Or if you want to do like sound effects, you can like drop your phone on the table to do some sort of that kind of dropping sounds and stuff. You can record also. Okay, guitar is a real live guitar where you plug in your guitar and then you connect to your computer and then you can use BandLab to record, okay, or amplify it. Okay, sampler is just MIDI sounds, and bass you also can put an amplifier into BandLab. Okay, but we are only just going to do instruments over here because I don't sing very well, so I cannot teach your voice. So instruments, and then I don't really use guitar and bass. But if you do have a guitar and bass, instead of pressing the piano keys here, you can use these options. So I just want to show you all the brief features of BandLab. So the main thing is like over here, these are your instruments. You can add more instruments, but over here we just do one instrument. So in order, okay, the main features over here, you can see this is the beats per minute. So when you press play, this will actually you go with the this is the metronome. You press play, you can hear the beats. 120 beats per minute means there's 2 beats per second. Right, so you can also change this beats per minute. It's quite cool actually. So let's see. You can change it to be faster or slower, like that. Yeah, so based on your song, I mean, I can just do it 120. Okay, so this is the instrument. You can either do the instrument by pressing the mouse button here, or you can use your so this is a grand piano. Okay, but right now what I want to show you is like maybe we use a string. Okay, let's see. String pad. Okay, so I want to like try to recreate the first part of the anxiety thing here. So let's just, okay, this one will take like about 5 minutes, then we will end. So I just want to maybe just recreate this first part here. So you can hear how it sounds like again. Okay, so for that, we can go to BandLab. Okay, you can either click on this instrument here. Okay, what you can do is you can actually click on record and record the song real time, or you can go to like media editor and you can like over here you can drag the notes in. Okay, so for the demonstration, I will just use the record button. Okay, so let's go over to down here, the instrument. So you can go to the record button. So that was a practice. So you press the record button, you will record in real time. So let's see how it works. After you record, this will be what happens. Okay, you can then use this editor here, the MIDI editor, to change tone here to start and stop exactly at the time needed. Okay, so this is really very cool because then after you can then edit your stuff here. What I normally like to do is you go here and you click quantize. This will snap it to the nearest. This will snap it to the nearest cell. So you can hear how this sounds like now. Yeah, so that's like more or less a recreation. So if you want to do more cinematic stuff, actually what you just need to do is to have another instrument over it. Okay, that is really the kind of synth. Okay, so maybe string pad. Nope. Choose another one. Something that is more like dreamy kind, maybe this one. So if you want, I think maybe the atmosphere pad or something. Yep. It's too much. This one sounds okay actually. Then what you can do is you can overlay this with another instrument. Because the more like atmospheric one or more cinematic sounds, they actually have the main focus being on all this overlay instrument, and the melody actually becomes so let me just record this. It sounds a bit weird because this one I think still a little more dominant, but if you use something like softer, okay, let's just hear this. If you use something softer, it should sound quite nice. So yeah, I mean, I don't have time to go through in detail all this. This one we'll touch on next week. Okay, but this is the rough procedure. Okay, if you want to create a song, okay, you either record it or you do by this media editor, and you can drag the notes here. And the thing is, if you were to do different kind of genres, you really just vary your tempo, you vary the kind of ways these notes are structured, and you can get different kinds of songs. So yeah, I think I'll just end here for today. And yeah, you just play around with this BandLab. Actually, it's pretty simple to use. You just add whatever track you want, and then you just record. Just take note that this stop button here, this stop here is the playing region. So if you want to record like starting from here, you just drag this playing region all the way to this side here. Okay, so yeah, you can just experiment with this, overlay more things, and then we can talk more about how to create a nice song next week. All right. So lastly, actually, if you want to like publish your song, you can just click on the publish button here and you can publish it. Okay. That's all for now, and I'll see you all next week then. Okay, thank you.